Hi guys, AdderSnake here. How's it all going? Yes, and hello and welcome to what is going to be dubbed as Subject Sunday, the commentary series that I'm going to try and do every Sunday for you, and try and talk about a subject that could be relevant, irrelevant, interesting, not necessarily uninteresting I hope, but something that you might find my perspective of things quite enjoyable to listen to, if anything. So, something that's quite sort of near and dear to me, that is a part of my lifestyle, if anything. Customer service. That is what I would like to talk about. And just kind of the aspects of customer service of that, really. As I'm sure with most people that, depending on really where you go, there is different sort of aspects when it comes to customer service to what you would expect. And how necessary the people who are trying to provide it can achieve it. So let's kind of go in a little bit of depth to really how I would sort of class myself where I am a customer facing role with my job. What people would probably expect from me when I work in electrical retail. So people necessarily are coming and inquiring about the products that we sell. To go into depth with the electrical retail side, I do sell things from going and do smart televisions, laptops, iPads, things like that. Even to the extent of where people may be looking into what kind of freezer they're looking for. Is it something suitable to go into a garage, or something that would have to be fitted, like built-in units? Again, the queries like that, I have to be knowledgeable, which they would expect. They need to know the questions that they need to ask, they need to know the answer to effectively. So, in that sense, I think that there's quite heavy emphasis on the customer service aspect in my job role. Knowledge is the main important part, I would say. Not necessarily have to blag it half the time, not necessarily have to be the know-it-all half the time. I think it's the way of dealing with that knowledge and being quite open, because, let's face it, you don't want to deal with any sort of bullshit when you're front-facing to anybody. Honestly, it's quite a good policy when it comes to it as well, so when I necessarily deal with customers, I probably turn it in a way again that if I don't know something, I can either go find out or we'll learn together and just see what we can explore. Hopefully, I mean, most of the time it does go towards and veer towards actually finding out the information that we're needing to, but I kind of learn at the same time. If I was to say, oh, I'm the know-it-all of this, I'm the know-it-all of that, they would probably see me as bullshit and probably not very inviting to sort of deal with. As it's more people skills, I'd say. And again, that kind of comes back to the customer aspect. Being personal, I guess. You don't really want to be robotic, you don't want to be to a criteria, you don't want to be to the script every single time to mention to people that like go through it, a whole rigmarole with it. I find personality in my job role necessarily is the fact that gravitates people to where I work, as opposed to say Curry's or a John Lewis, where although they're big named companies who do this predominantly the same thing as us, maybe got sort of a lesser aspect on usually dealing with customer service in regards to customer satisfaction, and ultimately that means providing that quality sales experience. For instance, some people who like to go to Curry's, I mean, sometimes Curry's is a more convenient place to go to because they are a bigger brand and chain compared to where I work, which is a little bit more independent, although we are technically sort of region-wide with East Anglia. We probably don't have as much mind power, we don't have as much buying power when it comes to a lot of the things, but mind share, predominantly, if anyone's looking for customer service in regards to electrical retail, John Lewis is the piece de resistance, the people who have never knowingly undersold. Not necessarily true, quite hilarious in some cases when you mention that they've never knowingly undersold and we've got the cheaper products for the same thing effectively. And most of the time, because I work in a market town, letting them know that they can save their petrol money going to Cambridge and save a little bit more, it's quite a good thing, if anything. But customer aspect, customer experience from that point of view is quite, well, not necessarily disimportant, but important is in any case really, making sure the customer's happy, that you're dealing with them appropriately, in the situation that's necessarily in front of you. For example, my friend, he works in a shop. It's one of the local shops, so he's in the middle of town, Cambridge town centre, and it is quite busy with that. But there's more people needing that quick thing, so say like I need a pint of milk or just grab a drink, sandwiches, whatever. It's designed to be not like your massive big superstore. And he mainly works on checkouts. I mean, most smaller businesses like that, you kind of dabble in everything. You do a bit of cleaning, you do a bit of shelf stacking, you do almost everything pretty much. Kind of shifts day to day. He was on tills one night, and he had a gentleman who bought a bottle of wine or a bottle of beer, a bottle of something in some description, and he basically was asking, do you want me to double bang it so it's a bit more strength in it, so it's not going to likely to split and the bottle just break all over the floor. Gentleman declined. He said no, the one bottle will do. And Richard said, oh sorry, I mentioned your name, sorry Richard. I'm sure you don't mind. But as far as it went, my friend just said, okay, no, that's fine, one bag if you want one bag, and went ahead with that, and lo and behold, the gentleman came back and said, I want my money back, I want to get another one or whatever. You didn't offer me a double bag, and I was like, well, if you're actually listening, I did, you declined, I'm sorry, but it's something that, if you'd like, we could probably change it over for a new one, or just, no, you've made that risk, that's it, you have to buy a new one now. I can't help if you once you've left that front door, that's it. Which technically, I mean, as a sense, it's a bit of a bad customer experience for the customer, but it's not necessarily a disservice from the point of sale, as we say. Who's wrong? And this is the part. The customer's never wrong, the customer's always right, isn't he? But is that always the case? Is that always true? Would like to think so. And do we always think that we're always right all the time? I mean, no one likes to ever admit that they're wrong. But sometimes you just know better than what they do. But you can't go about it in the way that you have to be bullshit. You have to be that asinine way to say, I know better than you, listen to me, I'm telling you correct, true advice. I mean, at the end of the day, you can shout gospel and shout facts day in, day out, but they don't have to believe you. Don't, I mean, just by example, I can't remember necessarily what it was about, but I was talking to a gentleman and he said, no, I just don't believe you. I don't genuinely believe what I was saying was true. I mean, as far as it goes to what I knew I was talking about, as far as I was aware, I was talking facts. I think it was about a DVD recorder, something like that. We're in a bit of a unique area when it comes to signal strength. I won't go into too much detail, but we don't have terribly good signal strength when it comes to televisions around this area. But there's something he just generally said, didn't believe that atmospheric pressure would necessarily affect signal strength in the air, which, because we're such minimal signal strength on televisions for just basic aerial, we just don't. It is liable to things like atmospheric change to do so. He just generally didn't believe me. I mean, fine, you're entitled to your opinion, but I suppose that opinion is opinion, and fact is fact in that sense. They can believe what they want. I can tell them what I believe to be true, which in most cases I will hope, if anything, I've been taught correctly. I just hope in that sense that people would necessarily take my word and believe me, really. So yes, with most things, I say, most businesses is kind of like that. Well, I say businesses, I mean everything's some form of customer facing. Even they're saying are not called sort of customers. I mean, just for example, hospitals. Doctors are kind of like the sales staff, the advice, the practitioners. They're the people who are going to help the customers, which are the patients. You'd expect a certain duty of care when it comes to things like that as well, where you expect professional, correct advice, to be helpful, to be true, to be putting you in the right direction to make sure that whatever's the problem to be solved. And again, I don't know necessarily if you kind of think of it where they're more of a professional role as a doctor or a nurse or chemist in that sense, that you would, or pharmacist as well, you'd expect their advice to be exact, correct. I mean, at the end of the day, there's a little bit more pressure that it is kind of dealing with life and death in that sense. Because if you say you got some paracetamol, instead of it being 10 milligram, it was 100 milligram, you fucking killed the guy or something. I mean, that's quite bad. I mean, you need that kind of advice, I mean, to be correct. And no, that's a big fuck up if that was ever to happen. But again, it's kind of down to that you need to sort of try and, I don't know, it's not necessarily sort of liven the situation in that sense, but you kind of have to make sure that it's not necessarily a fun experience, but something that's, what's the word, not enjoyable, but something that's not necessarily a negative experience, positive, let's say positive. It's a bit of a ramble, but I hope you necessarily enjoyed this. Just a view on something that's necessarily important in my work life, really. So this has been Subject Sunday. It's something that I'm going to try and do every Sunday where possible, just talk about something necessary that's relevant in my life, interesting, hopefully not uninteresting, but a bit of a ramble, bit of a shambles, see what I can talk about, and see if you enjoy it. So my name's AdderSnake. This is something that is going to be changing on my channel for 2016, and I hope it's for the better. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, favourite's a bit redundant now, but don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help. Although it's a number I'd like to see grow. So thank you very much, and I shall see you all later. Take care.